real estate kind of scared me a little, not the actual nuts and bolts of it, but the actual finding clients. I love real estate. Just go into real estate.
Hi everyone, this is Tanya Hino, and today my special guest is all the way from La Mesa, California. This is Maggie Clemens. She's a broker owner of One World Realty in La Mesa, California, and also a real estate investor.
Well, first off, Tanya, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. I love hearing what's happening out there in Hawaii, my favorite vacation place. So to give you a little bit of history about myself, I've been in real estate as a retail side of it for about 10 years. I was 8 years with a big box company, and then 2 years ago I decided that it was easier for me to not be in a mold. So I decided to create my own brokerage. I came out to San Diego in 1978. I joined the Navy. Luckily, at a very young age, somebody while I was in the military put a book in my hand, and that book was Think and Grow Rich. And it kind of changed the trajectory of my life. And I started buying and selling real estate with my very first condo at 25 years old. I think I made every mistake possible on that condo, but I kept it and I used that as a springboard off into other investments. And about 10 years ago, when I decided to retire from my other occupation, I was like, what am I going to do? And everybody in my life was like, real estate. So then I thought, okay, why don't I try real estate? So that was 10 years ago, and I'm still loving every bit of it. I love real estate, all of the different aspects of it. And so I'm still having fun every single day.
That sounds like me. I totally love real estate. I love it. I love it. I love it.
And there's so much to it. People just don't even realize all the little pieces there are.
Yeah. So I'm fascinated by the fact that you were in the Navy. Here's a thing. My daughter, who just graduated from high school, just decided to switch from going to school for nursing because she's enrolled in school for a nursing degree. She decided out of the blue just a month ago, hey mom, I'm going to go into the military and I'm going to join the Navy. I'm like, what? So when I heard that you were in the Navy and I saw your picture on your Facebook page, it's so cute. Can you just touch on that? How was that for you?
You know what? I tell people that joining the Navy was the single best thing I've ever done for myself. Like I said, I joined right out of high school. I went through boot camp, A school, and landed in San Diego 4 days before my 19th birthday. You know, it taught me how to be self-reliant, how to budget, how to, not rely on my family. One of the reasons for going in the Navy was that there was just no way I could afford to pay for college. And so I went in the Navy to get my degree, which I did get my computer science degree in while I was in the Navy. So that has helped me in a lot of ways also. But it was fun. It was, as I said, it was the single best thing I ever did for myself.
So moving from Navy to real estate, how many properties have you invested in?
Over the years, from that very first condo when I was 25, I think I have bought and sold about 19 different properties. I always had a realtor that I worked with, and it was funny, but I've never worked with the same real estate agent, which was very weird, and it was because nobody ever kept in touch with me. And so that was kind of what led me into being a realtor myself, was because I thought, oh my God, I can do this. I can't believe that nobody's ever kept in touch with me. I still have 4 rentals right now that I manage, and looking for another one. I'm hoping to see if there's any opportunities here towards the end of the year. Yeah. So I've done a lot of real estate transactions.
If you were to describe what has kept you in this industry for 10 years, what's your why? What's the thing that motivates you and gets you out of bed?
I guess it's mostly my family and just being able to travel that just keeps me going. But I guess because I was in the same position, I love working with first-time buyers. I love it. I think that, real estate is the foundation of wealth. And I try to convey that to my first time buyers and get them thinking not just about this transaction, but the next transaction and the transaction after that. And how are we going to, get you from here to here with, with using real estate and just kind of going from there. So I guess I'm a little bit of a counselor also. Last year I was visiting with my niece, and her and her husband were like, we want to do like you. We want to invest in real estate. We want to buy rentals. And I looked at them and I said, you already got your first rental. And they're like, what? And I'm like, this house. Why not just rent this house out and go buy another house, And they looked at me and like, well, I guess we never thought of that. And I said, most people don't, start with this place, start with your first place and keep it. Pay it down a little bit, keep it, let somebody else finish off the mortgage while you move off onto other places. And it's hard because you hear people say, well, I'm going to buy my forever home. And I'm like, maybe not.
Exactly. And there's also another strategy, right? You can sell it and then you're not taxed to $250,000 per person.
Correct. That's a federal law, and it's $250,000 for capital gains that they will forgive you if you're an individual, and up to $500,000 if you're a married couple. And that's one of the advantages I have, that I've been buying and selling real estate since I was 25. I've been watching and following the San Diego market, and since I bought and sold, I've basically lived all over San Diego. I know all of the little pockets. The one thing about San Diego, and it's probably the same with Hawaii, is that our wages have not really kept up with the home prices. And I always explain this to my clients. It's just that, San Diego, everybody wants to live here, or Hawaii, but so all these years, employers haven't really had to keep up because, of the desire to live here. People are willing to take a little bit less pay and stay in San Diego than, to, maybe get more money and then move somewhere else. So
so back to that capital gains. So as an optional strategy, they take the capital gains, which they're not taxed up to that 500 if you're married, single being 250. What do you recommend a person to do in that situation if they're thinking, hey, I want to do it this way?
I try to look past just this sale, and it's like, what is it that you are trying to accomplish? Not today, not in a year, but in 5 years, in 10 years. What is the goal to get them to define those longer term goals, and then we just work with it.
So we're gonna kind of talk about business ownership in general. Okay. At what point did you decide or think it was correct to start your S Corp?
Well, when I went off on my own and created One World Realty, I created my S Corp. Although I was thinking about that a couple years ahead of time, more for a tax savings than anything. As soon as I created my S Corp, I made myself a W-2 employee so that, I could push off some of the taxes onto the S Corp. I own my rental properties in separate LLCs to protect me against anything that might, who knows what might could come up. But if there was any litigation or anything, then that kind of protects me and isolates me from everything else. But the business itself, I put into an S Corp. And so when I have my taxes done, which are still in the process, it's quite a ordeal to do every one of them.
I'm finding a really hard time as a business owner finding a really good CPA that not only does your taxes, but helps you strategize for the future.
Yes.
Okay, yes. So back to business ownership. So S Corp, you have to be a broker in order to?
Oh, no. I know several real estate agents that are agents with a team or under a brokerage that, have created their own S Corp. And my thought is I wanted to make myself a W-2 employee so that as I'm looking for more properties, it will be easier to get more mortgages. Since I am also an investor, I look at different types of investments with real estate. And one of them that most real estate agents have not done is when I got out of my old profession, I converted my IRA or my 401k into a self-directed IRA, and I bought a condo. So, my IRA, a good chunk of it is in a condo here in San Diego, and that rent goes right back into the IRA. So I have, $1,500 a month going right into my IRA. There are so many different pieces to a real estate puzzle where I wanted to have different streams of income. So I have my rental properties in different LLCs. I have the property management portion of my business, and then I, buy and sell real estate and help clients out.
You are my people. I have found my people in
Yes,
you. So I know that you recently read or are in the midst of reading E-Myth. Talk to us about that and how you're implementing that into your business.
Okay, well, the book you're talking about is the E-Myth for real estate agents. And the book is probably one of the best books I've read in a long, long time. And as soon as I finish reading it, I plan on starting it all over again. But the book does talk about systems and how to duplicate what you do. And I realized I thought I had pretty decent systems, and reading that book has made me realize that I don't do everything in my business, but I've realized that I haven't yet systematized my business enough to where if I broke my leg on a ski slope or whatever, would my business continue to be productive without me? And I had to come to the realization that no, it wouldn't be. It would not run without me. So therefore, it doesn't fit the definition of what a real estate business is.
What is your favorite book?
I would say Think and Grow Rich is still my favorite.
Thank you, Maggie, for joining me today. You got to come to Hawaii and we got to have some coffee together and we got to just talk about all things real estate. Aloha.
Aloha.